What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 2 of Portal Pulse. I'm David Stevenart alongside Christian Hansen. We are ready to jump in. It's been a crazy week of the NFL, college football. I mean, there's just been so much. I don't know. It just reminds me that anybody can win in the NFL and college football. It was an awesome week. It was super enjoyable. I loved it.
A lot of madness happened.
That's right.
A lot of upsets that I wasn't expecting. A lot of crazy, exciting games that honestly I thought I could sleep through. But overall, it was an exciting week, not just in the NFL, but in college football as well. So lots to talk about and recap.
I personally had an awesome week. I know maybe not you quite so much, your Texans hoodie that you're somehow still wearing.
Oh my gosh.
I had a great week. I watched both my teams win on Sunday. I watched the Bears win a game that should have been over, I mean, way before it was. But you know what?
Yeah.
They did it. A win is a win. I don't care that we gave up, 470 passing yards.
That's just embarrassing.
Old man Joe Flacco. You know what? A win's a win. And I've got my Seahawks jersey here. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the jersey I've got. Throwback, Steve Largent. Seahawks, might as well just switch to those every night for all I care. Mm-hmm. Those jerseys are amazing. And Sam Darnold looked basically perfect last night. And I can't even believe I'm saying that, but the Seahawks looked really, really good. Thoughts and prayers to Jaden Daniels, of course. That looked bad.
That was ugly.
Very ugly. Did you see the broadcast replayed that?
Dude, it's kind of just horrific to watch.
Couldn't believe that.
Because you just feel bad for him. This is his second year?
Second season.
Second season, that's a very bad injury, and, I don't know how long his career is going to, maybe his career gets cut short of that, but hopefully that's not the case, because I think Washington is definitely where he belongs, and it's been a great fit for him so far, so hopefully he comes back healthier, better than ever, so.
Yeah. All right, let's jump right in. We're I guess we're already talking about the NFL, but yeah. NFL recap. I said last week I want to just do, Christian will pull out a game of the week every week, and I'll pull out a not game of the week, as you might say.
A not game of the week, all right.
That's right. Christian, what's our game of the week in the NFL?
All right, so the game of the week is without a doubt the Bears and the Bengals game. Watching that game was I'm on the edge of my seat the whole game. I don't even know, because I thought the Bears had it locked up very, very early in the fourth quarter. I thought that they, were just going to end the game, but especially on that interception. Was it interception or fumble? I think it was an interception.
The interception down in the red zone?
Yeah, by the Bengals. So the Bears intercepted it, but
yeah. And
then they called it back, and
yeah, no, they were like, oh, the receiver had a finger on him down by contact.
What does that even mean?
It was bad.
What does that even mean? And then of course, it's the Bears, so they're going to give up 6 points on that play. But the fact that they recovered the onside kick, that was hysterical, I'm going to be honest. After they recovered the onside kick, I just knew that they were going to go down and score, because, Bears defense, as good as it is hyped up to be, it's just the Bears, so of course they're going to give up 6 points. I had no faith in Caleb Williams to drive down the field and actually put up 6 points. I thought they were just going to go for the field goal. But kudos to Colson Loveland just staying on his feet. But if I'm the Bengals defense, you can't miss those tackles. You got to bring him down. I mean, I know that pass was going to get him into field goal range anyway, but you cannot miss those tackles, especially that late in the game. The Bengals have one of the top offenses in the league, which is kind of crazy to say, but their defense is just, oh my gosh,
it's bad.
It's embarrassing. You let Joe Flacco, who's 40 years old and he's throwing for 400 yards, and you're putting up over 40 points and you're still losing. That's just embarrassing to me. But overall, that was the game of the week because of the high scoring, because of all the lead changes. I think there was 8 lead changes in the game.
Something like that, yeah. That was on the broadcast at the end.
I don't know. Well, that's definitely the game of the week.
Yeah, well, my thing with that game is, that's a game last season as a Bears fan where, even after we gave the ball back, with 17 seconds, whatever was left after our last touchdown on Colson Loveland, I'm just waiting to see how they can lose it. After last season where the Commanders, the Hail Mary, but then all the other ways, they just like would find ways to lose. This year, what's different is they're finding ways to win. It's the little things where, like the game with the Raiders earlier this season, where they blocked a field goal. The game with the Commanders, they won it out at the end. Like, they are finding ways to win the close games. So like where you mentioned, like, it's not so much that I didn't have faith in Caleb Williams going down the field at the end of the game. It's just like the Bears in general, but it just feels like Ben Johnson, there's been a shift. Like, it's like we're not just giving up. We find ways to win the close games, and it's just games that I don't feel like the Bears had been winning. As a Bears fan, like I was always like expecting, like, we're gonna find a way to lose this game, but we finally didn't, and I'm loving it.
Like, I think you can definitely tell a difference between Matt Eberflus and Ben Johnson, because Ben Johnson, he's been around a successful organization in Detroit for a couple of years now, and I see a lot of like the Dan Campbell effect in Ben Johnson, like just in the locker room, bringing his players up, hyping them up after the win, and the energy, the want is there, and that's something you didn't see at all with Matt Eberflus. I mean, even when the Bears would like come close to winning, Eberflus would just be like, "Oh yeah, it's all right. We'll get him next week." No, Ben Johnson's going to be right on their butt, and he's going to be telling them what went wrong, what they need to fix. So I think it's Ben Johnson that's really solving a lot of the problems, but there's definitely some flaws that come with Ben Johnson, but
I know
it's tough to recognize, though. Yeah, a win is a win, but we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. So
yeah, for sure. Before I get to my not game of the week, I got a blind resume for you from this game.
Okay.
Ready for this?
Yep.
Okay. Tell me which one you'd rather have. Wide receiver 1, okay?
Okay.
2 receptions, 22 yards, 1 touchdown. Okay, this is week 9 stats.
Okay.
Wide receiver 1. Wide receiver 2, 2 catches, 9 yards, 0 touchdowns. Which wide receiver would you rather have?
Wide receiver 1.
Wide receiver 1. Wide receiver 1 was Caleb Williams.
Oh my God.
Wide receiver 2,
dude, no way.
Packers first-round pick Matthew Golden in week 9.
Dude, I don't know what's going on with the. Well, I mean, it's just 1 week for the Packers, but how are you losing to the Panthers? Like, that's just.
It was bad. Honorable mention, Panthers-Packers for my not game of the week. The only reason it's not is because that one was at least an upset, where anybody that's not a Packers fan was like, "Whoa, the Panthers won. The Panthers were 5-4. This is awesome."
I know.
So that was cool. Not the most exciting watch for sure, but a close game where the team that was a huge underdog won. But the game I'm going with, sorry about it, but Broncos-Texans, I think it takes the cake. It just, well, and, obviously part of it, you can't control C.J. Stroud getting concussed in there and Davis Mills having to go in. But at the end of the day, just not a watchable game for sure. Not exciting, nothing much going on. And
honestly, I can't blame you, because it's not a watchable game by the Texas fan or the Broncos fan, because the Broncos were losing most of the game, and we didn't even score a touchdown. It was all field goals. How are you? Oh my gosh, move on. We're not that anymore.
Okay. No, and I just think as a Broncos fan, you gotta be frustrated, right? Because it's like you are 7-2, Broncos 7-2, which is insane. But like Texans, you're beating the Texans, Davis Mills Texans by 3. You beat the Jets by 2. I mean, like, you just feel like these little stints. Bo Nix goes on in the fourth quarter where he looks like I don't know, he's got this crazy clutch factor. Like, it's cool, but like, why can't he just always look like that? That's where I'd be coming from as a Broncos fan. Like, what? Like, it's awesome that it turns on and he can find ways to win games, but like, at some point, you don't want to be playing these close games with all these teams.
Like, the clock is going to run out before he has a chance to do anything. So, I think the Broncos' future looks very, very bright. But this season, it's showing signs of positivity.
Their defense is awesome.
Their defense is very good.
The offense is weird.
But the offense needs to, I don't know. Maybe he needs more weapons offensively. Like, if he can get like a dominant wide receiver or a very good draft pick at running back, maybe that might be one of the scariest teams in general. But I'm going for the Broncos to win that division because I just hate the Chiefs.
Yeah, and shout out Mercedes Lewis. You see they pulled him up to the active roster?
They did, huh?
They did. 41 years old. What is that? Oldest
That's Joe Flacco age.
Yeah, no, and as a tight end, that's insane. You're out there taking the hits. He's amazing blocker. Good for him.
Yep.
All right. Anything else on the NFL? Crazy week.
Yeah. That Bears-Bengals game was just crazy, man.
And thinking, I think college football was a pretty crazy week this week too. We just saw a lot. Anywhere you want to start necessarily? I mean, I have a couple things I can talk about, but stuck out to you.
Start at the Miami game.
Yeah, SMU. And I'll admit I didn't see much of these games this weekend.
No, I didn't either, but I did see the scores, and I'm actually just going to pull it up right now because I did see the Miami score, and
you were all hyping up back last week, and I don't know.
The Louisville loss is fine, okay? The Louisville loss is fine. This loss to SMU was just bad. That's just, I mean, yeah, they're at SMU, but that potentially might have just knocked them out of the ACC championship game.
It might, yeah. I mean, they're sitting.
Might have.
They're sitting
that's a
at
bad
7th
loss
in the ACC now.
That's a very bad loss for them.
And even, we're going to talk about the playoffs a little bit later, but the first playoff rankings come out, depending on where you're listening to this, maybe they already have, but Tuesday the 4th. And, what the problem with Miami is they don't really have any more wins the rest of the season to kind of boost them if they don't end up in the ACC championship game. So,
yeah, because they don't really play anybody, right?
Yeah, they can run the table, but, they aren't going to be able to do anything about kind of just the strength of their wins now. They've lost to the good teams they've played outside of Notre Dame. I mean, that was first game of the season, so, how much does that factor in?
Yeah, and I think Notre Dame is on their way back. They won 6 straight since that Texas A&M game. So I think Notre Dame's, they should win out, but we'll see what happens. It's Notre Dame, so you never know. But the Miami loss was very bad. Another pretty bad loss that just came up was the Tennessee loss at home to Oklahoma. I didn't see really anything special with Tennessee up until that game, but when you're losing at home to
it is an SEC opponent.
I mean, yeah, but Oklahoma has got some bad losses, but they've also got some pretty impressive wins. So it's kind of just a roller coaster.
Oklahoma's been up and down.
Yeah,
a weird team.
Up and down team. But Tennessee, I've never really seen anything special with them this past couple of years. So I don't think that loss might. I mean, I think that loss definitely knocked them out of the college football playoff contention, but I just don't think that Tennessee had it in the first place. So
yeah, especially in an SEC this year where there's just a lot of, I don't know about great teams. At the very top, yes, Alabama, Georgia's still been looking pretty solid.
Yeah, this
week was but lots of good teams, and when you start losing some of these games, someone's going to lose, but you can only lose so many. Another one I want to bring up, I guess, back into the ACC was Georgia Tech. That's a team I hyped up last week, and then they lost. So I think we just need to not talk about any teams on here anymore unless
let's hype up Ohio State. So they lose.
So they lose next week. All right, Ohio State, pick them to win next week.
Yeah, they're not going to.
I don't even know who Ohio State plays. Actually, yes, I do. It's Purdue.
Oh, all right.
Never mind. Ohio State's gonna be fine. So Georgia Tech, another devastating one because again, I actually haven't looked much at the rest of their schedule the rest of the way, but similar thing where it's the ACC. Georgia Tech still has a pretty good shot at being in the championship game. Them and Louisville are at the. I don't know if they're at the top, but they're second in the ACC. I think they still got a pretty good shot at the playoff. They might have to. I don't know. This is a whole conversation we have at a different time, but whether or not they have to win the ACC to get in, or I
think they definitely have to win the ACC because
I can see the ACC getting 2 teams, which is where, and we can talk about this more later. But Georgia Tech, big loss.
Who did they lose to?
Crap.
I was gonna say
NC State.
NC State. Okay, so
high scoring, 48-36. Yeah, I actually couldn't even remember. It was just such an unexpected, like...
And then Boston College, Pitt, and Georgia coming up. Okay, so...
That I forgot about Georgia.
Pending the Georgia game,
rivalry week.
Which obviously it's Georgia, so let's say they lose. Game. They're going to have to win the ACC. If they lose that Georgia game, they're going to have to win the ACC if they want even a shot.
Because if they don't... Well, honestly, actually, this is an interesting thing about because if they were to go and lose to Georgia and end up missing the ACC championship game, does that benefit them more than if they were to, if they lose to Georgia and it shakes out that they're in the ACC championship game and lose, and end up with 3 losses? You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but...
Obviously, yes. Ideally, win the ACC.
Yes.
I think a win over Georgia...
definitely gets you in the ACC championship and definitely gets you into the college football playoff, I think.
Yes.
So...
Because, again, I think the ACC can have 2 bids, which we'll get into later. But, yeah.
One more game I want to hit on before we move on is the Vanderbilt and Texas game.
Arch is here.
Vanderbilt going to Austin to take on a Texas team that has just not looked the same as last year. But, Texas taking care of business. They Vanderbilt almost mounted a little comeback there at the end. But I think that's one of the, if not the biggest win of the year so far for Texas because, Vanderbilt's a top 10 team.
Yeah, what were they, 9 before
this something week? Like that. So that's... And now they're ranked ahead of Vanderbilt. So that game itself might have put them in the conversation of a college football playoff appearance.
In the conversation for sure, yeah.
But can you pull up the rest of their schedule? But
I do think they have a couple where, they have games they can win. And, they got the win over Oklahoma and Red River.
And that was an impressive win. That wasn't just a win. That was an impressive win.
The loss to Florida, the farther we get, doesn't look great. And Ohio State week 1, it's Ohio State and it's week 1. So I don't think that's much of a factor. Texas the rest of the way, though. Number 5, Georgia.
Okay.
Coming up in a couple weeks. They have a little break. Arkansas, which obviously you got to win that game if you want to stay in the conversation.
Yeah.
And then Texas A&M, that rivalry weekend after Thanksgiving. So
they have a really tough schedule coming up.
They do. But games where, if you win them, you're going to stay in that conversation. Even if you win one of those games and lose. So, if you go 2-1 in your next 3 games, you're going to have 3 losses, but you're going to have a win over either Georgia or Texas A&M.
I think if you win at least one of those games, that's definitely a confidence booster, and that's definitely...
It becomes
keeps
a conversation.
The media talking. Yeah.
And it more, again, I think 3-loss teams could end up in the playoff. It just is going to depend on how things shake up outside of the SEC with the other ACC teams we talked about, the Big Ten. I don't know.
I think, I don't know how, I honestly don't know which game would be better to win. Obviously, you think Texas A&M.
I think A&M. They're higher ranked right now, and also it's that last game of the season where it's
you get a chance to make a statement.
Yeah,
that's your last chance.
You don't want to call it recency bias, but it is. It's better to people out there say it's better to lose at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
I also think it's better to have those big wins at the end where it's it's fresh in people's minds, fresh on the committee's mind. It's hey, this just happened.
Yeah, because I guarantee you, people have already forgotten that. Oh yeah, Texas was number 1 at the beginning of the year and they lost, and now they've just kind of dropped down. They have a chance to make the biggest comeback from dropping from number 1 out of the entire top 25. But if they win out, which honestly could happen, they got a chance at making possibly a top 5 seed.
Yeah, but definitely a wide range of outcomes for Texas.
100%.
And hey, I'm at least excited for Texas because here's the thing: after week 1, after that loss to Ohio State, and not only did they lose, it just looked bad. And people were ready to just throw Arch away and all this stuff. And I won't say that maybe I wasn't one of those people that was oh, maybe he's not quite as good as we were talking about. But just the hype and the talk around him coming into the season, really almost wasn't fair. He just had so much pressure where you got to remember, as good as maybe he is or can be, he's it's the first time he's a full starter SEC powerhouse school. So like, give him a little time, and I think he's
playing
finally
the best competition in the country. So.
And I almost, from the parts of this game that I watched, to me it looks like him and Sarkisian are maybe almost more on the same page. Just as far as like what Arch is comfortable with, what's going to make the offense flow, just the play calling and the way things were going, it just looked like it was working better, and it looked like. Sark is starting to understand Arch's strengths. He's starting to get what's going to work, and he's playing to the strengths of his quarterback. And I think that things are starting to come together for Texas, and I think that's exciting to see. Because again, I don't want to sit there and just like pray on Arch's downfall necessarily, because I think he can be awesome. And so it'll definitely be interesting to see as the season goes on if that continues to develop, because I definitely think it can. In these last couple weeks, he's looked a lot. Arch has looked a lot more confident. He's just looked. His numbers have been awesome. That's undeniable.
Yeah, he's just looked better in general, which is a good thing.
For sure. All right. Anything else college football? I think that's really all I had. Okay. We got a couple. We got World Series written down here. You wanna start? You're more the baseball guy.
Yeah. So the World Series. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not too happy with the outcome. Obviously, I'm not. I ain't no bandwagon, so I wasn't really going for the Dodgers in that. But overall, the World Series, that might have been the best World Series that we've seen of the 2020s so far, I think.
Oh, no, for sure.
I think I've seen a lot of media posts where it's like, was this the best World Series of all time? And then I've seen the Cubs and Indians World Series brought up many times. And honestly, to compare those two, I think this one is better just because it was back and forth. Like the Cubs and Indians one, it was, okay, the Indians are up 3-1, and then the Cubs went on a streak. So it was just kind of all Indians, and then it was all Cubs. This one, it was Dodgers, Blue Jays, Blue Jays, Dodgers, Dodgers, Blue Jays, Dodgers, Dodgers. So I think this is a better World Series, but obviously it had its moments. It had that insane Game 3, like 18-inning walk-off. I'm not the biggest Shohei fan, so I don't really care for the Dodgers that much. And
but you do got to admit he's impressive.
I do got to admit that he's the best player in the game right now. And his talent is very unmatched. But I think I got to say, when Vladdy and Bo Bichette hit the bombs off of him, I was going nuts. But yeah, the World Series was great in general. If it was a better outcome, if it was a different outcome, the Blue Jays won, then I think that'd be definitely, without a doubt, the best World Series. But I think that Cubs-Indians one is the best, or takes a close second.
I don't know. Even as a Cubs fan, I mean, like, obviously that's my favorite World Series, that Cubs-Indians, but I still think I put this Dodgers-Blue Jays one ahead of it. It was. I mean, you mentioned the 18-inning game, and that's going to be something everyone mentions. But just the back and forth, the wins on the road, even Game 7 went to 11.
Yeah.
And just like having Scherzer pitching at 41, right, for the Blue Jays.
Pretty crazy.
Wild stuff. Yamamoto, how about him?
I think Yamamoto
coming in
definitely deserved the MVP.
Yes, he
they
did.
Did not win. At least two of those games without Yamamoto.
Yeah, so. And wild for him to come in a day after throwing 106 pitches. Is that what it was?
Yep.
That's insane.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't believe they pulled out that Game 7 at the end, the Dodgers, pitching lineup of what they put out there that night, and it was Ohtani, Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell, and Yamamoto.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is insane. And that's my only thing with the Dodgers. Like, obviously they're fun, but like you look at that and it's like, at what point does this stop where they can just go and buy all the talent? Because like those are all like all-star level pitchers.
Yeah, like the salary cap is long overdue, and that's why a lot of people are thinking there's going to be a lockout during the 2027 season, which honestly, go for it if it keeps the Dodgers from winning the World Series again.
Well, okay.
But they don't trust their bullpen, as you saw that in Game 7. You put all your elite guys. Didn't even let the young guys pitch because you don't trust
Yamamoto
them.
came back in.
Yeah.
There you go.
So.
Yeah. My opinion on baseball is always, not always, but more recently, has almost been a salary floor. If people want to go out and spend money, okay. Mm-hmm. But force some of these teams that don't to go in and spend money. It's not that they don't have the money. And that's always my thing with the Cubs is like, you pull up their payroll, and it's just sad because they're a top 5 market in the sport, and they do not spend money.
Yeah.
Like Kyle Tucker, he could be a Dodger.
Probably going to be a Dodger.
He might be. And the Cubs have the resources to bring him back and just won't.
It's not just the Cubs, it's teams like...
No, it's not just the Cubs.
It's the teams that always suck, like the freaking Rockies, the Marlins, the White Sox.
My thing with the Cubs is the Cubs are a bigger market than the Rockies and the Marlins. And
the White Sox. Well, the White Sox got a lot going on.
For the Rockies, the Marlins, the A's, teams like that, like, make them spend money. That's why... Maybe there's a cap and a floor, but I think a floor would be awesome. I think that would be a first step.
Yeah.
There's our baseball talk. Look at that.
Quick and easy.
And then college basketball starts tonight as we're recording. We have Monday Night Football on, of course. But
Arizona just beat Florida, so that was awesome. Can't stand Florida.
No.
Except for Tim Tebow, because it's Tim Tebow.
Tebow Mania.
College basketball, it's awesome. It's very exciting to watch.
Agreed.
But I'm ready, man. Already an upset with Arizona beating Florida. Obviously, it's very early in the season, but once the conference games start getting going, then it gets like I'm into it. So
now I'm excited to watch Purdue this season.
Okay, enough with the.
Well, hey, that's my team, and they are going to be awesome.
Oh, they're not. They don't have Zach Edey.
It doesn't matter. They didn't have Zach Edey last year.
And they sucked.
They did not. Mm-hmm. No. What are you talking about? And they're going to be better this year. Just wait. Everybody is back. Braden Smith's back. Best guard in the nation.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No.
Argue with the wall. Best guard in the nation. Returning basically everybody, along with Daniel Jacobson, yet another 7-footer coming off his, red shirt basically year because he got hurt like 2 games in last year. So it's gonna be awesome. I'm excited. They play tomorrow.
Oh, they do.
They do. Yeah.
I was looking at the rankings. Like,
I actually haven't even looked. Purdue's 1. That's about all I know.
Auburn's 1.
Auburn is not 1.
Houston's 2.
Auburn is not 1. Pull up the A people.
Buddy. There's an ad. Anyway.
Wait. What was I looking at?
People. Hey, Louisville's ranked, so that's good.
Actually,
happy about
Purdue
that.
1.
Yeah, okay, buddy.
Preseason A people. Houston 2. What? Auburn? Where's Auburn? I don't see it. 20.
Oops. Alright, well, before we move on to our next segment, I want to hit on BYU. AJ Dybonsa, obviously the most likely the number 1 pick next year.
I just closed the rankings. Were they 8?
8, which is
crazy,
extremely high. But BYU in general, like why do they have the number 1 high school recruit commit, and now they have the number 1 high school football recruit, Rider Lions, commit to BYU. So I don't know what's in the air at BYU.
The transfer portal and NIL. That's our thing right there.
I don't know.
They can buy people up.
Yep, I guess that's what happened. But I'm excited to watch AJ Dybonsa because obviously in high school everyone was hyping him up, and you can only really see clips through high school. It's not really televised. I mean, obviously the Chipotle Nationals are, but I'm excited to see him compete against some of the top competition in the country, and it's going to be interesting to see how his team does and how he works around BYU as a team. So, in general, it's going to be an exciting year, not just for AJ Dybonsa, but every team. So.
Well, I think it's good for the sport, in a sense, because obviously there needs to be some rules, there needs to be some regulations, I think, on the portal, on NIL.
Yes.
But you look at a team like BYU, where like they've had some solid years, but as a whole, like not like preseason number 8 kind of years, you know?
Yeah, that's...
And so, you know, beforehand, we're like, you're not getting a recruit like Devontae, you know? Yeah. Like, you're not bringing that guy in before the era of NIL where you, like, if you have donors that are willing to pay the money, then, like, they can go and do it. And again, I do think there needs to be some regulation around it and not just kind of the Wild West like it is right now. But I definitely like that it's just like there's some parity for sure. Like, BYU is going to be probably a pretty good team. And there's just teams where like, oh, this is new. Like, this is fun.
Yeah.
That are, like, we're seeing the same thing in college football too, which I think is, in that respect, you know, I do like it because I like to see new teams and not just the same 5 teams win every year.
I like that too. So.
Okay, there's our college basketball talk.
Last segment.
All right, I'm excited for this one. So as I mentioned, depending when you're listening to this, you might already be able to go check them. But the first college football playoff rankings are coming out Tuesday, November 4th. And so in preparation, what we've done is we've come up with our own little brackets. So to be clear, what we're doing here is we're not projecting what we think the rankings are going to be tomorrow, because likely they're going to be pretty similar to the AP poll.
Yep.
So that's kind of lame. What we are doing is coming up with what we think the bracket could look like at the end of the season.
Yep.
Yeah. And I can't wait to come back in 2 months and to look at how completely wrong we were. Because it's not going to be close. But it's fun to do, it's fun to speculate, it's fun to think about. And the way I set mine up, I actually have some pretty fun games. So, do you want to start?
I'll start. You want to go game by game so I don't...
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
All right, so let's just do the 8 and 9 game first.
Okay.
So, my 8 seed at the end of the year is Ole Miss. Because
Lane Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, well, they're in the SEC, so it's... how many SEC schools do I actually have? Like, 4. So they're actually my 4th and final SEC school is Ole Miss. So I don't have Vanderbilt in there, don't have Texas in there, or Oklahoma. It's Ole Miss. And Ole Miss is what on the rankings?
Ole Miss? Right now, hold on. They rose... 7? Yeah, they're 7
so
right
they're
now.
7? Okay, so I have them dropping 1, which I can definitely see happening. But Ole Miss at the 8, they're hosting the opening round game. Yes, if they win, they got to play the number 1 seed, which we'll get into.
Oh, you know what? I'm not going to change my bracket up, but I do like that because I forgot the SEC schedules that little cupcake game in there. So Ole Miss plays the Citadel this weekend.
That's going to be like 80 to 0. Unless an upset. You never know.
You never know.
But yeah, that's my 8 seed is Ole Miss.
Okay.
So they're playing host, the 9 seed, which is Notre Dame for me. Only because Notre Dame is not in a conference. They're not going to get the top 4 seeds. They already have those 2 losses. But so they're not going to host, obviously. But that Notre Dame-Ole Miss game could be a very good opening round game because you have a Notre Dame team that's very capable of an upset, very capable of just going down to Oxford and pulling out a win. So that's why I have them at the 9 seed because of those 2 losses, and they're not in a conference, so they're not really playing a lot of competition. But I think that's the highest they can go is 9.
Yeah, right around there. I think is fair.
So that's my 8 and 9. 8 versus 9 game is Ole Miss playing host to Notre Dame. It's Notre Dame at Ole Miss.
Okay. So I go into my 8-9 game now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We'll throw these up. We'll post them. So go and follow along with us as we're talking about them. We'll make sure you guys can see them. Okay. My 8-9 game is actually, I have 8 Notre Dame. Just because, similar spot. But as a whole, like, I do think Notre Dame can do something. I think they can be good. I do think they're figuring it out. They obviously, don't have a whole lot of chances to get those quality wins. Mm-hmm. But I do think with the depth of the SEC, the depth of some of these conferences this year, I think it benefits them that they aren't necessarily losing games. And to an extent, that 2 in the loss column is going to look better than the 3 that some of these SEC teams in the same conversation are going to have. And so, for reference, they finished the season Navy, Pitt, Syracuse, Stanford.
I'll be at that Navy game this Saturday.
Oh, I forgot you told me that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
They should win out.
They should.
Especially Syracuse. Angeli's out for the season. Like, this is Pitt is probably the next closest game.
Maybe. Actually, Navy should be.
Navy, yeah.
So.
It's always hard to tell with the academies.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to see Navy put up a fight. So we'll see.
Navy's got 1 loss, so.
Yeah. But, yes. Ideally, for Notre Dame, they finished the season 10-2. So, 8 Notre Dame playing host to Louisville, which I think you like, at number 9. And the way
That's my 2 favorite teams, bro. You're gonna make them play each other.
I am, but
bro.
here's the fun storyline here. Louisville's head coach,
actually Arizona State,
Jeff Brom, Brom came from Purdue, a rival of Notre Dame. This is just a fun little wrinkle in there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And it's going to get even better when I tell you who they're playing in the next game. Yeah, the winner of this game.
Who?
The winner. So Louisville 9, Notre Dame. They're going to Notre Dame at 8. Okay. That's my 8-9. But the winner of that game plays Indiana.
At the 1?
Yeah, at the 1. Big Ten champion Indiana.
Buddy, my number 1 is without a doubt Ohio State.
This is my bracket. I can do whatever I want in my bracket. I want to be different. Because you know what? If I just pick Ohio State, it's lame. And I can play the storyline of, if Louisville knocks off Notre Dame, Brom gets to go then on his Indiana tour and beat, or have a chance to beat, both of Purdue's rivals in Notre Dame and Indiana. Or you get the Notre Dame-Indiana game again, which would also be awesome because 2 Indiana teams squaring off. The energy, I just think, would be electric. So, there you go. Indiana is my 1. Okay, my 8-9, Notre Dame, Louisville. 5-12?
Yeah, my 8-9 is Ole Miss, Notre Dame. Winner plays Ohio State, the number 1. Okay. 5-12, my number 5 seed, nothing changing here. Georgia at the 5 seed. They're the 3rd of 4 SEC teams that I have. So I have Georgia playing host to the number 12 seed, which is actually Miami. So I have Miami sneaking in there. I have Miami winning out, going to Georgia, and getting knocked out in the first round. But I think that'd be a great game because Carson Beck played at Georgia. So I do have Georgia at the 5, and I think Georgia's very capable of moving up past the 5 seed, but Miami sneaking in there.
Okay.
Never know. Okay. So, but the winner of the 5 and 12 plays the 4 seed, which I have Texas A&M, and I have Texas A&M losing the SEC championship to the 2 seed, which I'll get to later. But I still have Texas A&M in the top 5 at number 4. So.
Okay. All right. Mine, again, I'm thinking along some of the same lines, just not quite the same seat. So A&M, I have at 5.
Okay.
Hosting Memphis, my group of 5, because, the playoff changed a little bit this year. So top 5 conference champions are getting an automatic bid, which means Memphis is my 5th conference champion in the playoff. So Memphis going to Texas A&M. This one's a hard one to project because anything can happen in some of these conferences, but as of now, Memphis is the highest ranked one. So for now, I'm going to give them the best chance to be that group of 5 team. So A&M hosting Memphis, which does mean I also have Texas A&M losing the SEC championship game.
Okay.
But they are my number 2 SEC school, just because I'm impressed with A&M, especially their defense. But I've been more impressed with Alabama. Yep. So I do still think Alabama wins the SEC, but I think A&M doesn't fall too far as a result of that. And then I have the winner of that game then playing Ohio State.
The 4?
Yes. Well, you can't put them higher than that if they lose the Big Ten championship.
Dude. Okay.
Okay, fine. Well, whatever. I think then Maybe they're interchangeable. Maybe Ohio State and Indiana flip. But I like my Ohio State at 4. I just want to be different. I got to be different.
All right, 7 and 10.
I'm not going chalk. Yeah, 7-10.
My 7 is BYU, winning the Big 12. Yeah, so I have BYU at 7. Playing the 10 seed, playing host to Louisville, 10 seed. It's kind of a whack pick, but I actually have Louisville winning the SEC or ACC and only locking up the 10 seed, and not even playing host. So,
okay.
The winner of that plays a 2 seed, which is the SEC champion for me, which is also Alabama. So I think BYU, Louisville, 7 and 10. Winner plays Alabama. I think Alabama gets a free ride to the Final Four, but we'll see.
Okay. And that might be the only thing we picked the same. Alabama at 2. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're going to end up passing up whoever wins the Big Ten because, again, whether it be Indiana or Ohio State, I think that team wins out the regular season and then beats the other one in the Big Ten championship, which is then going to be the best win in the country.
Yeah.
So one of those 2 teams should end up one, barring Michigan beating Ohio State again. So we'll see. But, yes, Alabama at 2. So my 7-10 matchup is 2 teams that I just feel like have had a similar vibe this season. I've got Georgia at 7 hosting number 10 Oregon. 2 teams that I think are very solid that just because of the other teams in their conference that have been playing even better just aren't necessarily getting the attention. They're coming off, both of these teams are coming off huge seasons last year, and Georgia and the SEC is getting kind of overshadowed by Bama and A&M. Oregon's getting overshadowed by Indiana and Ohio State. And I just feel like, credit to those other teams, I do think that they're better. Yeah. But it's 2 teams that I just think have a very similar vibe, and just when I was writing it up, they just kind of felt like this. So, Georgia, Oregon at 7 and 10. I still think that they make it in there, despite the fact that I don't have either of them in their conference championship games. I think they make it in, and I think they play each other. Winner goes and plays Alabama at the 2.
Okay.
Okay, one more little section of the bracket here.
My 6 seed and 11 seed. My 6 seed is Oregon, playing host to the number 11, which is also Memphis. Obviously, you explained why Memphis gets in there. Oregon with that loss to Indiana, I still have them making the college football playoff, and I think that they can definitely still host. So that's why I have them at the 6. And then my number 3, which will play the winner of the 6 versus 11, is Indiana. Indiana losing the Big Ten championship to Ohio State. And I actually have Indiana getting knocked out in the second round by Oregon. So I think a whole revenge game. So.
Okay. Sure. Okay. My 6-10 game, or 6-11, sorry, is just it's kind of fun. So my 6 is Georgia Tech. I've got that's my ACC champion is Georgia Tech. So I'm holding on to the hope that they get into the ACC and then beat my number 9 Louisville. I think the ACC is a 2-bid league because I think regardless, maybe Miami wins out, maybe they find a way into the ACC championship game. It doesn't look like that right now, though. Mm-hmm. And if they don't get in, I just don't think they have the quality of wins, outside of that Notre Dame one, to get in. So I think Miami, as much as they can run the table, I think they're going to need some help if they're going to get into the playoff at this point. Yeah. So that being said, I still think it makes sense Georgia Tech, Louisville to both make it. And I just, like I said, I was hyping up Georgia Tech last week. I want to stick with them.
Yep.
Yeah. Haynes King, I love it. I love to watch them. They're just a fun team. They're a pain in the butt to play with on college football, the video game, because oh my gosh, their offense is so hard to run. So much motion and stuff pre-snap. And then I have them playing number 11 seed Texas Tech. It's another one where I think the Big 12 gets 2 teams in there, and the winner of this game plays my 3 seed BYU.
Okay.
So here's my thing. Bear Bachmeier, true freshman, BYU, 47, never looked any better on a quarterback. BYU, they're literally playing
Texas Tech this week.
Well, here's the thing, is BYU's, well, that's why I have it like this, and that's why I have Texas Tech down at 11, is BYU is still undefeated. and I think that means something. And, as much as the Big 12 isn't quite as strong as some of these other conferences, there are still quality wins to be had. Cincinnati's a quality win, Utah is a quality win for BYU. Cincinnati coming up. Texas Tech, all these teams were like, it's not quite what you look at maybe in the SEC. But, coming up, they'd have Texas Tech, huge game. Is that where game day is?
I think so.
That's where it should be. And then TCU, Cincinnati, UCF. So Texas Tech would be a huge win if they can win that game, and then Cincinnati is still, as of now, a ranked team. So I think that gets them into the Big 12 championship. I'm picking them to win just because I think it's kind of a fun pick. And, yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll kind of see. I think the Big 12 does get 2 teams in. These are my 2 teams I'm picking right now. But I just think the second one in is not ranked very high. So Georgia Tech, Texas Tech, little Tech battle.
Yep.
Well, and I don't know. It's kind of a fun game, especially like Georgia Tech hosting a playoff game. Isn't that kind of fun to think about?
Yeah.
I like it. So then, BYU getting the bye at the 3 seed and playing the winner of that game. Do we want to go any farther, or we just?
Nah, let's leave it. Let's leave it there.
Don't want to look any more stupid in a couple months.
Yep.
All right, I think eventually we should come back to these after the bracket comes out. We'll keep these around and we'll be like, all right, see if we got any seed right. Like I said, we'll put these pictures up. We'll make sure you guys can see them. Because otherwise this wouldn't be as exciting. But that was fun. It's fun to think about, and I love the 12-team playoff because I just like having more football.
I mean, it was awesome last year.
It was.
So.
Okay, that's about all we've got. You got anything else to?
I don't.
End us off on. Okay.
Ended a little bit earlier.
There you go.
Good. So.
Yeah. No, that's all right. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back hopefully same time next week, and we'll have some more fun stuff coming, and we'll have the first college football playoff ranking to talk about, and we'll kind of be able to look at what we've got. So thank you guys for listening. From David Stevenar and Christian Hansen, this has been Portal Pulse. Go hit us up on all the social media. Check us out Spotify and YouTube, and we will see you guys next week.